Welcome to the 10-minute no code challenge. The future of coding is no coding at all, according to Chris Wondrath, CEO at GitHub. No coding is a skill we need to learn as effective product people. What are the rules of this video? We're going to be looking at all of the best no code tools there are on the market, and we're going to be building a real application. That means every video we're going to cover one no code app. We're going to cover 4 user stories that I have to build in only 10 minutes. Many of these tools I have looked at before and I have not built anything with. Why have I done that? So that I can replicate what it's really like using these tools for the first time. So one no code app per video. There's going to be 4 user stories we have to cover and I have to build them in 10 minutes. What are those user stories? We're going to build a really simple travel application. I want to be able to view different trips. See the first screen. I want to view the details of a single trip. Second screen. I want to go to the website of a trip. Call to action button. And finally, I want to be able to actually create my own trip and add that to the database. There are 4 key steps of any no-code application. Step 1, we need to build our interface, right? We need to create a card and an image and a title where the title will go. Secondly, we want to create a database. So that means that where we have maybe a header that connects through to something called a trip title or trip name, for example, in the database. Thirdly, we want to be able to populate that database. If we have trip name as a data point, we're adding some examples of that already in the database, and in our example, also be able to create our own trip names. And finally, we need to add functionality. You need to be able to click through to things, maybe add a search eventually. We need to be able to save a trip when somebody creates it. Today's no-code tool is going to be Softr. Softr is a really interesting application. It's getting better every single time I look at it. And Softr combines with Airtable, an external database tool, and it has multi-uses. It says it's for online communities, for building marketplaces, internal tools, whatever it is. Desktop, mobile, Softr has you covered. So just a very quick recap of what we've done so far. So we've covered Adalo, really good score, very, very easy, multi-faceted, external data analytics we can use. Buddy-based, good, a little bit too complex though to start out. Glide up's good, but a little bit limited in what we can do with it. You know, we're working with an Excel spreadsheet there. There are some external tools we can connect, but limited compared to the other options. And today, as I said, we're going to look at Softr. Let's jump right in. So timer is starting. I'm just going to get my user stories up over on my other screen so we can jump in. Excellent. So I've already just created an account. Very simple sign up process there. What do we want to do first? I want to view different trips. So as with most of our tools, I'm assuming that I'm going to have to start by building out the database. So let's see what we've got here. We've got pages. Great. We're going to start with a home page. We've got themes, design stuff. Don't need to worry about. Users we don't need to worry about yet, and settings we don't. So let's see. Let's add our first block. So we've got our view different trips. We want that nice list there. So let's see what we've got. So we've got static elements. Things like gallery, where we might manually add images for a website landing page, for example. We probably want dynamic, right, where we're going to be integrating data. So we've got all these different list elements. Right, why don't we go for something simple? Here's a nice list with deletable elements. Sounds nice and flexible. Yeah, let's go for that. That sounds like what we want. And it's got a search bar. Awesome, great. Okay, so we're going to pull this across. We've got a list element. We're going to go on mobile because we've been designing for mobile. So we've got this list with random women there, random data. Okay, so connect to Airtable. Okay, so it looks like we need to connect to Airtable, where we're going to be building our database. So let's head over to Airtable. Again, I've signed up before. To be very clear, I have actually used this before, but I'm going to go from first principles and just assume that we haven't. Right, I'm just going to... Okay, so we can import data. I want to start from scratch just because we've got limited data and just to not confuse things. So why don't we call this, okay, so we've got a few obviously different data types here. What do we want to do? We want to simply view different trips, view details of a single trip and go to the website of a trip and also create our own trip. So why don't we start by viewing different trips that we might have in our database. So we're going to copy across these titles. Okay, great. So we're going to call this first table trip, and we've got trip name. We are going to have trip description, single line text. We are going to have, yeah, we do want to save that. We are going to have here an image. What kind of data do we include here? Can we include an image? No. Okay, interesting. So the attachment is obviously where we're linking through to images or documents. Super interesting. And then what else do we want? We could also have our location and our trip link, importantly. Let's keep it simple. Let's just add, let's change whatever these defaults are. Let's just add that link. So do we want an attachment, or do we just simply add a text line? Let's see what we've got here. What have we got as options? Link to another record, URL, that's exactly what we want. And let's call this URL for consistency. Let's keep that for now. You know, we'll add location just in case we want to play around with that as well. So we've got location as a data point. Good, so I'm just going to manually copy across one of these first. Okay, awesome. Let's take our description. The image, we've got this link, so let's see how that works. Drop, no, we don't want to drop a file, we're going to add an attachment. Awesome, we can link it through, or we could upload it ourselves. Good, let's pull the image across. We've got our trip link, and then we've got our location. Awesome, so let's do another one, just so we've got a few different things to populate that database. And again, I'm moving a little bit faster than I probably would if I had never used this. But anyway, that's not the purpose of today. Purpose is to show you the power of this tool. Let's grab another location. Boom, perfect. Okay, so we've got our database set up for the trip. Awesome. Okay, so now let's go back over to Softr, and we want to actually pull that data in. Right, so remember, we've got two different tools. Okay, so say I need to connect to my Airtable API. It makes sense, right? We've got these two tools. How do we connect them? So if you look here, it shows you actually pretty clearly how we do that. So we go over to Airtable, account, and then we can see our API key. So let's go over. We're in Airtable right now. There's the API key. Excellent. Okay, great. So in Softr, we just enter our API key, connect, and we should now have access to that data. Okay, let's see. Yeah, sorry, this is called untitled base. Okay, so we could call this trip app, for example. Let's just refresh to make sure we get that update. Awesome, see how quick that is, instant. So it's pulling across that table we've created called trip. Awesome. Not awesome, we can't see anything, so let's go down. Okay, we're not worried about filters, item fields, here we go. So we want to make sure that it's actually going to display the data we want. Okay, so we forgot to rename images, whatever, not a big deal at this stage. Heading one's this, so we probably want the name, right? Heading two, we want the location, and then actually we don't want anything else, we're happy with that. Awesome. Great, so we're actually populating already what we've got here. We've got that tag thing. You know, for now we just want to get rid of it actually. And we just want the search bar. What do we want to search? We're going to search probably location and name. That makes, you know, you're going to search England, or you might search, you know, nice beach, for example. So we've got our search hopefully working. And then what happens? So we want, if we come back to our user stories, let's just bring that over. We want to view the trips. We want to then be able to click onto the detail of a trip. And after that, we need to worry about how we actually create a trip. So, okay, so on click, we want to open a page and we want to go through. So we're going to have to create a new page here. Let's add new page and let's call this trip detail. Doing for time as well. Good, we've 7 minutes through. So let's see how we're doing. We're moving quickly. So on trip detail, we've got it blank and we're going to want to show perfect list detail. So we're going to want to show that image, some text, button, etc. Good. Okay, let's pull in some data. So we want to pull in trip, and then very quickly we want to match the, what have we got here? Let's have, so see where we're sort of changing that as we go. The image, again, we haven't changed the name, but we're going to pull the right data in for that image. Tags, whatever, we don't have them, so we could get rid of it. Rich list, we're going to have that description, you know, that longer piece of text. Awesome, we've got the button already. We want to open external URL, but we want that URL to come from our trip. Let's just say visit website. Where's Byte? Awesome, there we go. So let's go back to home and let's just test out that that is actually working. So we should be able to view trips, which we can do here, and let's try if the search works. Awesome. Okay, and here, for whatever reason, it's not connecting through. I don't know exactly why that is not working, because we forgot to go back. I forgot to go back and connect it up to that new page we've got. Right, so it's saved. Let's try it now. So it's really clever there, where it knows it's going to go through to the trip we clicked on, like the current trip. Yeah, awesome. We can see already that that's going to work. Boom. Can we visit a website? Yes, we can. It's not going to work because it's a dead link. Excellent. So we can view different trips. We can view the details of a trip. I want to actually create my own trip. So we've hit 9 minutes. We've got 1 minute left to see what we can do. Right, so we are going to want to create another page. We're not going to bother connecting it now. We're just going to call that create. Let's say create trip. How do we do this? It's a little bit more complex on Softr. It's not complex. It's not self-explanatory. Intuitive is the word I'm looking for. Right, so we want to create something dynamic, and it's going to be a form, right? Because we're inputting data. So let's take one of their templates, which is this simple sort of contact form. Get rid of all this rubbish. And what do we do here? So we've got data that we're going to submit, and we've been very limited here. All right, we can't actually edit these default fields. So let's get rid of this. Let's delete this. And let's go back and let's look at here's a more sales form, right? Something more complex. So let's see what we can do here. Yeah, good, excellent. So here we can edit all of those input fields. So if I look at the tags here, it looks capitalized, and I don't know if that is wrong or right, but I suggest best place to start is just do it exactly as we have it written. So why don't we try name here as we've got it there, trip name, for example. I just want to get rid of all of this just to see whether this is actually going to send data. So, okay, so we're storing something called name. We want to send it somewhere. We want to send it to Airtable. We want to send it to trips. So we want it to appear here. Okay, awesome. And then once it's done, we probably want to, well, for now, we're just going to reload this page. But no, we want to go to home. We want to see that. Hey, and why don't we add an image here? What do we call this again? Accidentally called it attachments. That's fine for now. We don't need to worry about the naming. I just want to see, does this appear on the image section? Okay, awesome. So that's saved. Let's test this out now. Awesome. Time. Let's see what we've got. I'm just going to download this image. Should have done it before, but apologies. We've just got that nice test image there. Ooh, getting lost. Let's upload that to see what we've got. Oh no, we're getting in all sorts of trouble. Did I save it to my desktop? I can't remember. Uh-oh. Let me take a default image that I know I've got from the website. Sorry, you have to see double me on video and also there. Good. Okay, so looks like it's uploaded. So let's upload that and then see what we have. Oh, I could have dragged it there. Anyway. Okay, cool. So we've got two things there. Let's see if we can see more. Yeah, we can see awesome time, me and the title. Awesome. So that's it. Obviously, we need to collect up the navigation, but we've come in 12 minutes 45. So what are the results there? Let's just review, what we covered with previous applications. So at Dallo, we managed to build out our trip really quite quickly to just over 10 minutes. Give it about an 8 out of 10. Great product, but a little bit limited in what you can do with the data and with the elements that you can use there. Buddy-based, another great tool, but took a lot of time, like super complex, awesome if you're really advanced, but not good for an MVP. Glide, unbelievably simple, working with spreadsheets to make your life very easy. Took us only 8 minutes. I'd give it an 8 or a 9 out of 10. It's a little bit limited, but for building very clear, simple products that you're not going to need to evolve, excellent. And Softr, what do we think? Well, let's give it a rating. So it took us 12 minutes 45. And that makes sense because we're using that external tool, right? We are working with complete mind blank Airtable there. And that's actually a positive. So I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. It took us a little bit longer, but I know for using Airtable and the range of elements that we have available to us, particularly on the paid plan there, where you can really sort of up your game with custom code and a load of really interesting dynamic elements. For me, Softr comes in at number 1. It comes at number 1. Why? Well, we can use it mobile, desktop. It's super easy to use. Excel data, I'm going to give it a double tick because of the flexibility of Airtable, but also the integrations we have. And analytics, we can integrate with Google Analytics very, very easily. Price plan, startup, the free plan's perfect. You don't need much more than that to get started. But if you do need to pay, it's $24 per month.